Yeah, thank you very much for having me on this platform.
You're welcome.
I want to first, I will wish everybody happy World Forest Day.
Thank you.
I am by name Onyekachi Chukwu. I'm a forester and environmentalist and a climate change advocate. Thank you. Before I start my presentation, I want to recognize the presence of my boss in the person of Associate Professor C.I. Ezano, the immediate past head of Department of Forestry and Wildlife and the University. I'm glad to have him on this platform. If my slide is ready, please could you just share the slides so that we'll move forward.
Okay, you have it here.
Okay, can you project? Can I have a full screen display? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would want to please go to the last slide. No. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I also want to recognize the presence of one of our father in the person of Professor Gugu from University of Calabar. Thank you, sir. I can see you. These are people that have actually impacted in us. Without further ado, I'm Onyekachi Chukwu. Like I rightly said, I will be taking forests and sustainable production and consumption. This program is powered by Green Environment and Climate Change Initiative. Please, let's go to the next slide.
Thank you.
The next slide, please. Yes. If I want to start by telling us, giving us a brief recap of what forestry is, or what forest is. Forest is a complex geological system in which trees are the most dominant life form. Of course, in forests, we know we have so many constituents of the forest ecosystem. We have the wildlife, we have other microorganisms, we have the climbers, the shrubs, and so on and so forth. But to term a place a forest, trees are actually the most dominant life form. Having said that, the benefits of a forest can never be overemphasized. However, just outline some things or some ways which forest makes our life better. Forests make our life better through purification of air and water, mitigation of drought and flood, generation and preservation of soil and soil fertility, detoxification and decomposition of wastes, plant pollination and natural vegetation, dispersal of seed, cycling and movement of nutrients, control of potential pests, maintenance of biodiversity, climate stabilization, provision of food, aesthetics, design, and ecotourism. We have also forests provide jobs and economic value, provision of cultural and spiritual value. I can go on and on and on and tell us the importance of forests. Just like we look at the picture on our screen, it's a photo shot of the Amazon forest, okay? Looking at the waterfall and so many things. The forest is so wonderful. And of course, God has given it to us to protect, to serve as a shock absorber, to serve like a stabilizer of the earth. Please, can we go to the next slide, please? I want to tell us some striking facts about the forest. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, I want to tell us some striking facts about the forest. Do we know that forest covers 31% of the global land area? The forests are home for about 80% of the world biodiversity and more than 6,000 tree species. Around 1.6 billion people depend directly on the forest for food, shelter, energy, medicine, and income. Of course, the forest provide more than 86 million green jobs and support livelihood of so many people on the earth. However, the world is losing 10 million hectares of the forest every year. Of course, this loss, most of the loss is attributed to agricultural expansion, which is the main driver of deforestation, land degradation, associated forest biodiversity loss. Research on the Global Research Database, I find out that about 60,082 tree species have gone to extinction. Yeah, go to the next slide. The concept of sustainability. The next slide. The concept of sustainability is sustainable. When we say something is sustainable, the literal meaning of the word sustainable means maintain, continue, and keep. I repeat, to maintain, continue, and keep. And we have something we call sustainable forest management. This ensures that forest resources meet the present day needs, while at the same time do not compromise the future generation from meeting that same need. Please, the slide before this. Of course, the principle of sustainable forest management follows 3 pillars. Please, the slide before this. The slide is 3 pillars. Anything you are doing as sustainable, please go back. Please go back. Operator, please go back. Anything you are doing as sustainable forest management, it must ensure that it is economically friendly, it is socially friendly, and it ensures continuity. Like the slide before this, it shows that the sustainable forest management, it shows that the sustainable development goals. We have 17 sustainable development goals. They are in one way or the other related to the forest. The forest, which is the goal number 15, which is life on Earth. When you look at the sustainable development, either goal, look at all those goals are related to the goal number 15. Goal 2, for instance, talk about zero. You know, the forest sector helps in ensuring that there is zero hunger. Okay. Now, if you look at goal number 8, goal number 11, goal number 12, especially goal number 1, which aims to achieve zero poverty. The forest sector also helps achieve zero poverty by creating jobs. It also helps. So when you look at the sustainable goals, like goal number 3, good health and well-being, of course, you know that the forest provides us medicine. Okay, think of any type of medicine in the world. The root of that medicine is from the forest. We talk of clean water and so on and so forth. Then we talk about goal number 13, climate action. Of course, it is no more that the forest provides us oxygen that we breathe in and that takes in the carbon dioxide. Okay, the forest is the highest storage of carbon. Okay, that is the main element that please let's go to the next slide. I'm trying to round up. That will take the question and answer session. The next slide, please. Now, how do we attain this sustainable forest production and consumption, which is the main theme of this year's International Day of the Forest? Some of the ways to sustainable resource production and consumption. When I talk of the forest in this context, I talked about the things within the forest itself, the wildlife, because the forest serves as the habitat of the wildlife. Okay, anything you destroy, any tree you cut today, you have discomforting a particular animal, a particular plant. Okay, one of the things I've outlined here is one planting of trees, just like we did today in the city of Maiduguri, north eastern Nigeria. Went to plant trees. Now we adopt what we call recycling. You find out that there are so many ways you could recycle forest products. Recently, we're working on a project of recycling sawdust. Okay, that is the wood waste from the waste from the sawmill. Okay, converting them into briquettes, such that we can still use these briquettes to cook. But then we also went further to develop energy-friendly cooking stoves that minimizes open burning. It's also a way of recycling. Then we look at another way is by practicing selective harvesting. We should discourage clear felling. We should discourage clear felling. We do selective harvesting. Either you're trying to harvest any forest products, be it tree, be it wildlife, be it water, be it whatsoever you want to harvest from the forest. You must be selective in your harvesting. Then, of course, adopt technologies that minimizes soil erosion and compaction. Okay, any technology you're going to use in the forest should be a technology that minimizes soil erosion. It should be a technology that minimizes soil compaction. Then to avoid clear felling, especially on the hilly slope. I was privileged to work in Afi Forest Reserve, where we have the Afi Wildlife Sanctuary. You find out that these places are hilly areas. So by the time you do clear felling on the hilly area, you know, it is believed and it's a proven fact that water flows from the higher region to the lower. Okay, so clearing trees at the slopy area increases the speed of water, thereby causing soil erosion. At a point will even lead to gully erosion, will lead to flood, and so on and so forth. That forest trees are windbreaks and flood breaks. Utilizing also one of the points I've noted here is to leave snags and woody debris. Okay, these snags and woody debris, the snags are actually the dead standing trees and the dead trees that are fallen on the forest floor. These trees are also habitats to wildlife. By the time you remove them, you will end up destroying the biodiversity in that environment. Okay, the forest should be allowed to coexist naturally. Okay, then we also need to utilize professional forest consultation. You don't just go to the forest and do what you like. Okay, there are people that have been trained to manage this thing. Some people have even gone up to PhD level. We're lucky to have some professors of forestry on this forum. We have people that have been in the field that have gotten, even if it's little knowledge, but they've stayed for a long time within the forestry sector. We can term them as professionals. Please always seek their consultation, seek their advice. Then we should also adopt agroforestry, okay? Thereby allowing agricultural plants. This is an alternative, okay? Instead of clear felling, we could adopt any form of agroforestry. It could be agro-silvipastoria, it could be agro-silviculture, it could be any type of agroforestry. It could be Tonja farming, okay, whereby the people in the forest reserve are allowed to plant and do the agricultural activity before the tree canopy cover. Then another thing, which is the last but not the least point, is climate smart agriculture. The climate smart agriculture involves using agricultural technologies that pose little or minimal or no harm to the environment. For instance, planting using sack bags. Okay, this could help you minimize space for planting and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to draw the curtain at this point. Please, let's go to the next slide. I will want to draw the curtain at this point to thank you for listening and wish you a happy International Day of the Forest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reliably informed that we also have people from the National Parks, the National Park Service. Thank you very much for attending this program. Of course, the CG himself is here. Thank you. And I remain Onyekachi Chukwu. I will still wait for your question. Thank you. Over to you, the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Onyekachi Chukwu. That was a very enlightening explanation of forest and its benefits to the environment and to humans and to everything. Thank you very much. It's really enlightening. So if you have a comment or you have something to add or there is a question you need to ask, now is the time for it. And we have 10 minutes for this. Please indicate. Any comments, question?
Okay.
Yes, I have a question, please.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Carry on, sir.
Dr. David.
Okay, all right, go on.
Okay, I want to thank you for marking today's International Forest Day with this event. Thank you for your initiative.
Thank you very much.
My concern is, having looked at the forest policy, Nigeria vis-a-vis the various states of Nigeria, and the Land Use Act, that every land belongs to the governor of a state. And you know, when you say forest practice, you can't just practice forest on one plot or say 1 acre. It has to be an expanse, good expanse of land. According to the FAO definition of a forest, at least should be up to 5 hectares with close canopy of a number of trees up to 200 stands. So how do we now practice? Because the policy is just known by a few elites, but perhaps in that state, and we are very few. Some directorate of forestry in the various states are not functional. We just have few practitioners that are concerned about both climate change and the effects of deforestation and forest degradation. So how do we now save some of the forests we have already going in depletion and to plant new trees and to have our space for planting? I mean afforestation in some cases, because the state is not helping matters. Okay. So how do we draw down forest policy to favor? Yes, says how do we draw down the forest policies of national policies to state for it to be effective? Thank you.
Please.
Thank you.
John.
Professor,
let's take all the questions, then I will answer at once. Okay. Let's get the question from Prof. Cesar. No? I can see him raising up his hand.
Yeah, hello, Professor Zano. Welcome, sir. Let's hear from you.
Am I recognized?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Just
okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, you can, please. Okay, Professor Gugu, if
thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy for this presentation. It was well packaged. Mine is contribution. One thing that we must not lose sight of is the fact that trees produce the oxygen we breathe, which is very important, which sustains life. Without the trees, we will not have the oxygen that we breathe. Added to that is the fact that that oxygen is also necessary for combustion. If you are cooking your food with fuel wood or even cooking gas, methane, you need oxygen. And what is the source of that oxygen? It is trees. So if we have that in mind, that trees sustain our lives, we should not joke with trees. We should try as much as possible to plant trees and not destroy the forest. In addition to the numerous benefits which you have listed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Gogo. Next is Ms. Mohammed Bukagona. Please, can you ask your question?
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk. Nice to meet you, Mr. Onyekachi. Just met your picture in minutes.
Welcome.
Yeah, nice to meet you here, sir. My question is, looking at the nature of our country, the situation of our country, though now the United Nations says 25% of land in every country should be preserved for forests. Oh, yes, for forests. So, with the level of insecurity now in the country, you know, the reason why United Nations brought about that issue, that additional percentage, before it was 10%, if I can remember very well, now it is 25% land. It has made it mandatory on every country to secure or to conserve 25% of its land for forest. So, because now we have been making campaign. I have two questions, please, sorry. We have been making campaign.
Please make it snappy, please.
Every day. So my question now is, with the level of insecurity, how do you think like Nigeria can achieve the conservation or demarcation of that 25% of land for forests? It's not all about planting trees. If we cannot conserve the trees, the existing one, why are we talking about planting more? So if we can plant, we have to conserve. So with the level of insecurity, what do you think should be done in order to conserve our forests? My second question is, we have been passing awareness, like I participated in tree planting almost every year in my local government area, which I engage secondary school students, and especially the small children, so that it will capture their mind right from their young age. So despite that, the level of awareness, to me, we are not still getting in touch with the local people or the rural people for them to understand the importance of this tree, for them to understand the importance of the tree. And it's like we still lack awareness in our local environment. So what do you think should be done in order to improve on that, so that people will be enlightened about forest, the importance of forest and other things? So I don't know whether you get my question very well.
We have gotten your question. Okay, let me respond to these ones because this meeting is scheduled for 5 to 5:40. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for participating. The first is we know there's our forest has been outdated. Okay, and recently the forest policy was reviewed. Though I don't know how many people have the copy of the forest policy. A lot of things, a lot of effort have been put in place, but our effort is still not enough. And that is why even in forestry, a lot of advocacy is going on. Even at the level of the Forest Association of Nigeria, something is coming up, the NSEC, the Nigerian Institute of Chartered Foresters. So there are so many things. We can't also shy away from the fact that politics have taken over so many things, but we cannot stop. We'll keep preaching it till it gets synced. Of course, we know that the United Nations have suggested that 25% of every country's land should be reserved. And recently, I know our forest reserves has been bastardized. I was opportune to work in a forest reserve for my PhD work. A lot of things is happening, but and the bandits, the Boko Haram, and so on and so forth are taking refuge. They are taking our forest reserve to be their base. But we cannot stop. We'll still continue. I think advocacy is the main thing. The more we talk about it, we can even go to the locals. Like today's tree planting, we have to go speak in Hausa, we have to catch them young, and so on and so forth. So I just want to tell us that we should not get tired of speaking about it. If we know the importance, gradually there's something that is called combined effect. By the time you talk about it, another person talk about it, before you know it, it gets sink into our populace. Just like I used to tell people, everybody want to park park a car under a tree, but nobody want to plant tree. Okay, so these are problems that are facing us. Okay, but we'll keep pressing on, and we'll keep advocating. Thank God we have Dr. Goni, the CG of the national park. I must commend him on this platform. Okay, I think it is during his regime that you have the national park in almost all the media. He's a media-friendly conservator general. I also met him during the defense of the NICF bill in the National Assembly. He is always there, anything concerning environment. So we cannot get tired. We'll keep talking, we'll keep advocating, but change actually begins with us. How many of us have nursery in our closet? So notwithstanding, let's still open the line for a few more questions before the Zoom section comes to an end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Professor Zano, are you ready to talk now? Prof. Okay, not wasting much of our time. Mohammed, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question or contribute? Okay, Usman Ali, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, all.
Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Continue.
Yeah, I'm Usman Aliyu, a member Nigerian Geoscience and Mining Society, a member of Nigerian Environmental Society, a coordinator for Zero Go Green Initiative held in Borno State. Yeah, I can see our great people on the forefront for conserving the forestry and the environment. I want to appreciate Onyekachi today. Live, we are together with him to celebrate this whole forestry day. So my concern is that here in the northern part of the country, the infinite depletion of the forest is alarming. Where if you ask people, why are you cutting down these trees? Don't you know the importance of the trees? The answer is nobody has provided a substitute for firewood. And with the level of the poverty as a result of the insurgency, depletion of forestry has become a livelihood of a thing. So what is the way forward? And also, I have been on the forefront of tree planting in Borno State, of which I was even given a title because of the number of plants or trees that I planted. But the major problem we are facing here, you know, you can't just keep planting. It's not to get the seedlings and plant them. But the challenges we are facing on a daily basis, despite of the public awareness campaign, despite of the sensitization, people cannot, you know, if you plant a tree, you have to give it protection, you have to nurture. I have planted so many trees in front of people's houses, thinking they can have even provide the protection, but to nurture this plant is a problem.
Okay. So
what is the way forward now? What is the way forward in terms of this indiscriminate depletion of our forest, as well as how can we nurture these trees? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you,
Please, we are running seriously out of time, and the Zoom section will be ending in 3 minutes. We might not be able to take all our questions. I think, Laura, I think there will be need for another Zoom meeting, an expanded one, where we have up to 2 hours to talk to ourselves about because this will just crash the surface. Okay, I want to also use this opportunity to thank Osman that just spoke. He brought a method. He said PPN, and I see it as a way forward. Plant, protect, and nurture. But planting, it's not the main problem. Raising seedling, anybody